Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Ruchi Bhatia, and I welcome you all to the webinar on communication and client management organized by EZTaxPractice. Today, I have Subhajit from my team, and Subhajit is an automation expert who has been working with us for the last 5 years, and he has been working closely with the chartered accountants community. So in today's webinar, we are going to talk in detail about what are the major problems that CS face while interacting or communicating with their team members or their clients, and how technology can help in overcoming these challenges. So if I talk about EZTaxPractice is a practice and document management software which is particularly or specifically designed for Indian chartered accountants and tax practitioners. The software helps in managing clients, team members, billing, data, all at a centralized format. So, welcome Subhajit. Subhajit, as I said that you have been working with the CA community for the last 5 years. So, if you could throw some light on what are the major problems that they face these days?
CAs face, their work is mostly related with compliance and statutory work. So definitely deadlines is something which they chase on a regular basis. However, the major problem that the CA face is basically the communication, because you understand their business depends on their data that they get from their client, and the same thing that they get processed by their team and before submission to the statutory bodies. Now, communication, the flow of communication, like receiving of the documents, updating on the notifications, sending different reminders, getting tracking the work done, or maybe answering the queries from the staff member is a big thing. So I would say, if we are looking at a macro level, communication, besides the deadline and other statutory thing, communication is one major issue that the CA face in their daily functioning. That is one major issue.
Absolutely correct. Communication is one of the major problems that they face. So, how much do you think does it hamper the productivity of the team, chartered accountants, firms, or their team members if they are not able to communicate properly? If the communication flow becomes smooth, so how much benefited they will be through the solutions that they accept?
It does the productivity. It does affect the productivity, because you see, as I say, that their entire functioning depends on the data that they receive from their client or the data they process by the team. So in case the proper reminders doesn't go to the client fails to comply with the required documentation. If the document doesn't reach to them on time, it is becoming a tedious work for the CA or a firefighting situation to complete all the statutory requirement before submission to the respective department. So in terms, if they miss out on the deadlines, there is a lot of other thing comes up, like penalties, getting a bad name, like defaulter, getting your name into the defaulter list for their clients, and it is actually overall earning up not only a bad name from their customers, but yes, the productivity as a whole goes down. So definitely, it, as I say, it's a teething issue for any CA, like the communication and exchange of document, or sending the proper reminders, asking for things at the right time, or resolving the queries of their team members so that the work can be done well ahead, within the deadlines. So it is there. So again, as I say, it does affect the productivity. It does affect the entire business in a bigger way than we can think of.
Right. It actually hampers their productivity, and as you said, at times they may get bad name because they don't basically file the returns on time. So these are major challenges. So like Subhajit, you said that getting delayed response or getting them uh, properly on time, not getting them on time is a problem. So do you think that there could be processes that can be made which can help them in overcoming these challenges?
If I put it in a nutshell, it is technology. It is technology which can ease out the rough edge of communication flow. It is technology which can sync the work properly. It is technology which can be on one-to-many, which can ensure a one-to-many communication, which create a proper workflow management within which the CA not only can make sure the documentation or the flow of document is on time, right? At the same time, the answering of queries or a proper flow of information within the team is also maintained, right? I mean, there should not be much of a wait time, correct, which can happen the final submission. So it is the answer to your queries is that the use of technology can only be the plausible solution for this problem or for this issue, if I say.
Right. If I talk about particularly documentation only here, so documents are received by the team members or CA himself. At times they are delayed, or even if they receive the documents, they are on multiple platforms. Like at times they receive it on WhatsApp or at times on one email ID. So it becomes difficult when they need a particular document. They have to actually search for the document on all these platforms. So do you think that technology can help us, or if EZTaxPractice as a solution for that, that all the documents that are received, they are saved at a centralized position? Uh, can that be done, or if you can show us how it can be done?
I would definitely show you that. Let me just answer you before I, open up my screen software. Now, the thing is that, as I say, the technology, correct, flow of documentation, request for a document and provision, I mean, providing the same document is again a matter of communication, right? Now, what happens if your documentation doesn't reach you on time? And maybe, it is a fact. I mean, typically in the current outset, the way we work, the way we function, because since last couple of years I've been in touch with CAs, clients share all the documents. However, in most of the cases, it is in a kind of a little haphazard manner. Despite of the fact the CA given them a checklist, despite of the fact the CA given them a deadline to submission of the for the documentation, but again the client sends the documents in bits and pieces. Now, it might so happen that a client sent you 10 different emails which contains maybe 17 different documents, and that has been sent to you over a period of last 4 days. So think of for one CA arranging so many documents and put it that, okay, this is some from this particular client. And, these are two documents which has been missing still now. So we need to remind that client once again so that those two documents can again flow in and so that my team can start working. Think of this is the case of one client. Now multiply it by maybe hundreds, by maybe, 200s. And arranging the document or managing the document in such a situation is a challenging work. And finishing the work after that, the task deployment has to happen, then the final submission has to happen, then the verification has to happen, everything. But think of the way the CA is fighting, doing a firefighting to arrange those documents. As a client, if I am a client, I am sure that I have shared the document. But for a CA, well, it is something to look into. But let me answer your queries and all the things that you have asked me so far, like, how a document can be flowed in, how a team can get an answer to their queries. Let me show you something. I'm going to share my screen, so you might choose to, stop sharing. And
Yes.
let me share my screen. Okay. Just let me know if you get to see my screen.
It's visible now, Subhojit.
Right now, as we all know, this is our login page, so let us log in. Once we log in, we come over here. Now think of the pointers that we were discussing initially, like, how we can get the documents in one place. EZTaxPractice is the only solution which offers multiple sharing option to your clients, but the receiving of the document is happening at the similar place. So as a practitioner, I don't have to go everywhere to see, okay, this place I've got 2 WhatsApp and this place I've got 4 emails, so my documentation is here. Now think of, I open this client, So in case if I go to that web portal also, say for example, let me see if I can catch up on the web portal. Just let me see, show you that. Okay, I'll take you to web portal. As we all know that this is the web portal. This is the client front, Ruchi, you know. Now this is the web portal. Now think of if the clients upload the document from here, and this thing they can access from their mobile also. So a dedicated email ID, a mobile app, and as well as a client front, a client portal. Wherever, I mean, whichever way the client took to share the documentation, the document is going to land up here. So think of the amount of time the CA is saving. Whenever, whichever way you take, the document will be deposited here. So I don't have to look through your emails. I don't have to look through your, when you send me the documents over WhatsApp and whatever. If you have shared, it is here. Number
so you
one.
mean there are 3 ways of sharing the document. There are multiple ways of sharing the documents. And whichever way they show,
I have given them a dedicated email ID. I have given them a dedicated mobile app. I have given them a dedicated web portal. It is all there.
Clients of chartered accountants.
Yes, clients of chartered accountants. Right. Secondly, if we come to the internal part, okay, let's me finish up with the client part. Now, the CA wants to send a message to the client. I send it to my, a lot of CAs might say that I'm doing it through WhatsApp group. Now, sir, in WhatsApp group, you send a message to 40 people, out of which 25 reciprocated your request, they have submitted the thing, 15 people didn't. Next time when you send it, either you create a group for another 15 people, or you need to send it 15 different messages. But the messages is new. Once again, there is no resending of that message, because the 25 people have already sent it to you. There is no point in sending it to that people once again. So I have something called a broadcast message. In this broadcast message, not only I can have a history of the message so that I can resend that message, I can send this message in multiple channel also. I can send it to their mobile app, or I can send it to their email, the way I want it to be. In WhatsApp, if I can type a message, can I send it tomorrow morning? No, I can't, because I have to send it right now. Here, I have the option. I can choose my date and time when I want this message to be delivered to the client. Secondly, we have something called, a group. We can group the clients. If we want to send it to 20 people and the 20 people is part of a particular group, I don't have to type 20 names out here. I can just choose that group and send it in once and for all. That 20 people are going to get that message. Next time, if I want to send it to only 15 people, I might want to resend that message. I can open that message and I can edit the same. Maybe I can send 15 names. I can edit this. I can have a message. My other, today we are talking about WhatsApp, SMS, text message and all. Can they give me a history? You might say, yes, I can get my SMSs back. You're going to search it. You're going to search them through, when you sent it and what message have you sent it. It is taking time. Out here, you can filter it out. What kind of message have you sent? Filter it out and get that message. If you want to delete it, delete it. If you want to resend it, resend it. I have given them an option, because we need to understand one thing categorically out here, Ruchi. For a CA, time is money, because they always chase time. Government deadlines, clients sharing things get changed in the last time. And maybe last but not the least, last year we have seen some technical glitch came up, even government side, which caused a problem. Though that's not a regular one, but again, that's maybe we got to be ready for such situations. So it is better if we can give a solution to the CAs, which takes care of not only of their communication problem or communication issue, but make that communication flow so strong that they can eventually save time at the end, so that they can have a couple of days as a capping. They can, make any changes or complete their certain urgent work or make any modification during that time. So it's not gonna be the last minute submission, which is actually a matter of concern for a lot of CAs, because that actually, entails a lot of financial penalties, a lot of other things, right? Let me answer another queries of yours, which you have raised when you are talking to me. that how the CA is going to, get to know that, okay, fine, I have given a task. Now my guy has got a query. How am I going to resolve that query? Let me show you that also. Because these are all communication related issues. Now, this is a kind of a typical task page for, any CA. Now the CA has given a work. Say, for example, let me just go down a little bit. I open this. When my employee open the task, they see it like this. Now tell me, Ruchi, today, if if I'm working in a CA firm and I have got a question, I've been asked to prepare a GST file for a particular client, I have got a couple of questions because I'm not able to understand the calculation pattern. What is the best option left for me? Call up my CA, call up my supervisor, maybe sending a WhatsApp, or if he is there in office, I can get into his cabin and ask in person. Out here, I have given you an option to ask him something in black and white. And the CA can also answer him in black and white. So it is task specific, because most of the time today, what these guys are doing, they ask question at random. 4 different tasks, I ask 5 questions. Ask question which is task specific and get the answer specific for the task. Things will be more well organized. Things will be more transparent. It is better for your understanding, and the same thing will be reflected when you complete the job. Over to you, Ruchi, if you have anything to say.
Yeah, one query that I have, you had shown a message, a function wherein it can be broadcasted, a message can be broadcasted. So is there any upper cap that how many people it can go on in one go? I'm talking about the broadcast feature that you had shared.
Not really. I mean, if we can really have a group, and in that group you have at least 300 or 200 people, yes, it can go in that short. But yes, I mean, there is always being an upper limit that how many broadcast message can you send. But that depends on the on the software and all. So as you know, those are commercial things which we can discuss it on a later part. But again, that what I'm trying to show you out here is how you can resolve your communication issue, right? Today, the kind of issues that you're facing, how you are going to resolve these issues. Last but not the least, let me tell you another thing. A lot of CAs have gotten, ideas that, I'll get all the support only when I'm logged into the system. Without logging into the system, do I get an update? Do I get a notification? Yes, you do. How? Let me share. This is the message that I get on a regular basis. If I have got task overdue, I get it. If I have a task created, I get it. Even I get messages like, what is my daily summary? I get that also. Like, in the morning, I get a task list that these are the tasks which is due, today or maybe in the next 2 days. So I get that list also. Even the system is also going to send you notification in case one of your client gets deleted, once of your client get deactivated, one your team member is deactivated. Anything that has been happened on your software, which is basically your firm as a whole, you get notified over an email. So even without logging into the system, you still have the option to get the update. So again, a resolution for your communication, because a lot of times CA says, oh my God, I didn't know this. This has been due for so long. Sir, it is all there. You can get those. Even in the software, that's the reason. To catch a bird's eye view, I have given one particular option for a CA. For any calendric month, you can always see any task that is due on a particular date. It's a bird's eye view. You can catch a glimpse of this. Again, giving him an update. An issue which you always try to resolve in a current state, maybe writing an email or through WhatsApp or asking people. It doesn't have to. The software tells you everything. The data is at your fingertips. That is all. Over to you, Ruchi, and over to can
Yeah.
open the
Thank you for your inputs. So you mean to say that even without logging into the software, the chartered accountant get complete picture of what is happening in the firm, how many tasks are pending, what are in due, what is the productivity of a particular team member. So all these things can be there in the email box only.
Yes, it is. I mean, anything happening to your farm about your, like task, about any changes in the client's team or anything as such, that very thing, you get it as a notification mail.
Yeah, without logging into the software even. All right.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
right.
Subhojit. Now I request audience in case they have any queries related to the problems or
Yes.
the kind of solutions that can be there, they can always ask through chat option. I think there are.
Just retweet if they have a question.
Yes, there is a question. Can we get storage facility to client on our on your software?
Yes,
Can we
there
get
is a storage facility for the client. There is a storage facility in your software because the data that you'll receive for your client, that need to be stored in the system. So you do have a storage capacity.
okay? Another question says, can we create and close tasks assigned for multiple clients at one go instead of creating individual client wise?
That means you create a task for your multiple client, and once the task is done, yes, you can mark it done and it will get closed. Yes, you can do that because your task goes through number of phases. When you give the task, it might be a to-do list. When your employee is accepting the task and start acting upon on it, it might be on in progress. When it has come to your desk for a review or your final comments, it is in review. And when you mark it done, or you advise the concerned employee that it is all over, you can save it in the cloud for future references. You can mark it done and the task is closed. We give you that option also, to put the task in a different stage, so that tomorrow, if you want to see how many task is in review stage, you can always filter it out and see to it for yourself.
Great. Thanks for answering that. One last question that I have is we talked about the space that we are providing, right? So, what is the amount of space or how much storage are we providing?
Well, I would say that there is no such standard thing. I mean, generally, what we get to see, even on an average, to start off with, 10 GB is a good amount of space for a farm which is maybe a startup or maybe a few years old farm. 10 GB is good enough. But again, depending on the farm's requirement, we can always adjust the space. So it is not that it cannot go beyond 10 GB or it has to be 10 GB. Nothing of that sort. We can start off with 10 GB and we can take it further as per the client requirement.
Great. We'll wait for a few more seconds. If anyone has got more questions, they can always write in the chat.
Of course.
Subhajit, they are talking about recurring tasks. Can we create recurring tasks?
Like the task which is going to happen in every month, every quarter. Yes, you can do that. If we're talking recurring tasks, which I must tell you, they're talking about basically the services of the compliance task. Say for example,
Right.
GST. Say for example, your tax audit once in a year. Say for example, your income tax once in a year, or maybe your GST work, your TDS quarterly, right? GST monthly. So that is what they're talking about. We have an option, today we are talking about communication, but we have an option to define or design the entire financial year compliances or service list at one go. If I create my service list during the time of implementation, I do not have to bother about the task that is related to that particular compliance or service to create or recreate. It will automatically get created by the system, and it will be available to the specific employee who is supposed to do this. It is a one-time activity which generally our CS do with our support, our assistance. And once it has been done, because it's a one-time activity, once it has been done, it goes on till the time the CA doesn't want to change the frequency or change the any particular thing, change the dates for the commencement of the task or the due date. So till it is a one-time activity, yes, they can do it. Recurring
So
tasks
that
can be created in once,
task
and it will
can be created at the beginning of the maybe of the quarter or of the year. You can create the tasks once, and automatically they will be replicated as per the specific duration.
Exactly. With full adjustment liberty lies with the CA.
Great. So we are getting more questions on stuff like pricing.
Commercials, I think I have our
We shall
team to
share
take care of that.
commercial. We will definitely be sharing the commercials one-on-one basis. And so far as if somebody wants to attend a demo or they want to take a demo, they can always do it. I'm keeping it in chat also, 9717329715. You can always call up on this number and fix up a demo. Right. So I think we are good to close the session. Thanks a lot, Subhajit. Thanks for telling us about the problems and how they can be resolved. It was a pleasure to have you here. And thanks everyone, all of those who have taken time and have attended the software. I hope you have gained something from the software, from the webinar. Thanks a lot. Thank you everyone for attending the webinar.
Thank you, Ruchi. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.